Welcome back to another Roblox Studio tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can detect clicks on players, and then do different things like change some properties, and even damage the player. Let me go ahead and show you how this works. So if I'm the player on the right here, I can click on this other player in the game, and every time I click on this player, it's going to register a click and damage the player. The same would go for the other player in the game, so if they click on me, then I would take damage, as you can see on the right. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive in and see how we can do this in Roblox Studio. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be writing two different scripts. One of those is going to be a local script inside of starter player scripts, and that's where we're going to be detecting clicks on the player. And then to take action on those clicks, we're going to be writing that code in the server script service. Alright, so before we get started with the scripts, we're going to go ahead and add a remote event inside of replicated storage. So go ahead and just click on the plus sign, click on remote event, and then rename it to click event. Make sure the C is capital and also the E. Alright, once you have that inserted, we're going to be adding a local script inside of starter player scripts. The first thing we're going to say on the script is local player, and that's going to be equal to game.players.localPlayer. So that'll be the current local player. Next, we're going to get their mouse, so we're going to say local mouse, and that's going to be equal to player get mouse. After that, we're going to make a variable for the replicated storage, so we'll say local, and then we'll shorten it to rs, and that's going to be equal to game:getService. Inside the parentheses, we're going to put quotation marks, and then replicated storage. Below that line, we're going to make a variable for the remote event, so we'll say local click event, and that's going to be equal to rs, which is our replicated storage. We're going to say wait for child. Inside the parentheses, we're going to put quotation marks and then the name of the remote event. So that's going to be click event with a capital C and a capital E. Next, we're going to be writing a function that'll run whenever the user clicks on their mouse. So we'll say mouse.button1 down. So that's a left click. We're going to say connect. And then inside the parentheses, we're going to put function and then some more parentheses. The first thing we're going to do is try to find the model that the player clicked on. So we'll say local model, and that's going to be equal to mouse.target. And then we're going to say find first, and then we're going to say ancestor. And then we're going to say of class. And then inside the parentheses here, we're going to say model. So what we're doing here is we're taking a look at whatever the mouse clicked on and seeing if that part is contained within a model. And then what we're going to do with that model is check to see if it belongs to a player. First, just to make sure we actually got a model, we're going to say if model, then, and here what we're going to do is check to see if that model is a player model. So we'll say local clicked player, and that's going to be equal to game.players, and then we're going to say get player from character. Inside the parentheses, you would put the model that you're trying to get the player from. So in our case, it's going to be stored in this variable right here. So we're just going to put model inside the parentheses. Next, we want to check to make sure that that model belongs to a player. So we'll say if clicked player. So if it's able to find the player from the model, then what we're going to do is fire the remote event. So we'll say click event fire server. And then what we want to pass to the server is the player we clicked on, and that's going to be stored in clicked player. Alright, so just to test to make sure everything's working, let's go ahead and do a simple print message here. So we're going to say print, and then clicked player. So this is going to let us know if our click detection is working, and it'll print the name of the player. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it out and make sure this part is working. So whenever I click on this player here, I should see their name in the output. And let's just go and double check on the other side too. So when I click on the player, their name shows up in the output. So that lets me know that everything's good to go, and I can start working on the server script. So the other script that we're going to be adding is a regular script inside of server script service. On this script, we're going to start with a line for the replicated storage and the click event like we did before. So just to make our lives a little bit easier, let's just go ahead and copy and paste from this script here. So go ahead and just copy these from the local script and then paste them on the other script. The next line, we're going to say click event dot on server event. And then we're going to say :connect. And then here we're going to put function. Inside the parentheses, we're going to get the player automatically. So this is the player that triggered the remote event. And the other object that we pass through this function is the clicked player. So we can put that right next to it. Inside this function, we want to damage the player that we clicked on. So we're going to say clicked player. And then we're going to say dot character dot humanoid. And then we're going to say take damage. And then inside the parentheses, you can put the amount of damage that you want to deal to the player. So for example, you could put like the number 10, and that'll deal 10 hit points of damage. What we're going to do instead is go ahead and define a variable up here for the damage amount. So we'll say local, and then damage amount. And let's go ahead and set that to 10. Inside the parentheses now, we're just going to put the name of the variable. So we'll say damage amount. This just makes it a little bit easier to change later on, especially if you have more code. If you want to change the damage amount, you can just come up to the top and change the number, rather than having to search through the script to find this take damage line. Alright, so let's go ahead and test the code now and make sure the player gets damaged when they get clicked on. Okay, so now whenever I click on this player here, they take damage. And the same goes for the other player. If they click on me, then I would be the one taking damage. Alright, so that's going to be it for this tutorial. I'll probably do a couple more like this, one where we keep track of kills, and also changing some other properties of players. If there's anything specific that you want to see for clicking on players, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next one.